G'day YouTube, how the heck are we doing? It is Foul Play here, and we're going to be back for some more Pauper action. So hopefully today's video goes a little bit better than we did last time. So we're going to base our list here today very closely off of a list that came 3rd/4th in a 928 Pioneer US Regional Championship. So congratulations to Michael Lechk. Apologies for butchering that one. So the main and primary difference between Michael's deck and my own is they've gone for Paradise Druid, which is a good conclusion and one that I had forgotten about. However, I'm going to be going for Basara Archer Tower. The additional change to the main deck is I've gone for 2 Beseju in the main deck, minusing 1 of the Griff Spoon. So it mostly looks fairly similar to what we did in the previous leg. Still Floofy Paws, still All That Glitters, still Glade Cover Scout. It has, however, got 2 copies of SRAM and 2 copies of Generous Visitor. So Generous Visitor, a 1-mana creature. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. So sort of interesting tech. I don't know if it's going to be very good or not. I may prefer to go for Commune with Spirits afterwards. I'm not entirely sure. I probably overlooked Briar Blessing a little bit initially when I saw it. It gives 2 toughness, an ETB of fight target creature you don't control. Getting a fight effect which you can shoot her off Floofy Paws is probably pretty strong, especially into some of these red decks that we had trouble with last time. Other than that, main deck Rune of Sustenance, main deck Glaring Aegis is one of as well, and Cartouche is down to 2 copies from the 4 that we had. So it looks like a fun deck. Pretty excited to play it. With the sideboard, we have more removal, we have more life gain, we have Graveyard Hate, we have protecting our creatures, we have more protecting our creatures, artifact enchantment interaction, small creature interaction. So pretty similar to where we sort of ended up with a list at the end of last video, but obviously with a few key differences. I probably would be more in on Beseju instead of Natural State, just for the fact that it hits big things like Ley Line of Bounding, like Embercleave, etc. But I don't quite have the rental capacity to go for that, so we're going to have to settle for just 2 Beseju. Alright, so that's it for the tech. Let's get into the video. Alright, so here we are for the first match. We lost the die roll against Kevin Chen. This hand seems reasonable enough to keep. We don't have double grief for Basara, but we do have Scout, Floofy Paws, and a couple of enchantments. So good place to start. Opponent plays Hive of the Eye Tyrant. And if anyone that's new here, just apologies for any misplays I may or may not do. I'm not super familiar with Pioneer as a format. And we're really just testing the waters, trying to make it so that we provide Aura Hexproof content in all 3 formats. So it looks like a Vampire deck, ETB, Blood Token. Ganjo seems like one we may or may not want to keep a hold of. I don't think we have any great plays here. Let's just play Floofy Paws, hopefully it sticks, and then we can look to throw down on a few auras. But yeah, I really want to make this channel like just the one-stop shop for all things Bogles / Aura Hexproof. And learning a new format is definitely something there. So I probably should have read this a bit better. Sacrifice it, give X, neg X and XX to a creature where X is twice the number of blood tokens you control. So perfect damage from the opponent. They've got Goblin. It's already, I'm sure I'm just misplaying here. Do we want to do General Visitor, or do we want to do All That Glitters? I guess we can sort of make our auras work a tiny bit more if we do All That Glitters here, right? Alright, so this will mean we're able to attack in. Obviously, Plains was a pretty good draw there. And same with Generous Visitor, allowing us to grow our guy on sort of an Aura Light hand. Alright, so double Crocs are discarded. Slightly terrifying. They're still 2 cards from the graveyard away from escaping. Sky attacks. I don't really have any inclination of blocking here, so take the damage, treasure token. Hopefully we can get a couple more triggers off this guy. Alright, Death Touch. Whenever you draw a card, gain 2 life. Whenever an opponent draws a card, they lose 2 life. So, okay, well, they're removing our guy. That's fine. I would like to try and find some life gain. Think Death Touch will apply the Death Touch trigger to the damage dealt from fighting. So I'm not super keen on playing that one out. We could remove this Goblin token. That could be reasonable. Alright, let's go for that. And then we'll just grow our guy again. And attack for a bit. Try and clock our opponent. It's going to be tough with this like really large life swing that they have going on. Alright, so trigger. They get life. They flick Kiki. I have absolutely no idea what our opponent's deck is doing, by the way. As like an overarching strategy, if there's a gimmick or not. Alright, so opponent is attacking in. Just really quickly looked up. It looks like it's a Rakdos mid-range deck. I really think that we probably want to conserve life here. Yeah, it looks like it's a Rakdos mid-range deck. And if we can get our life gain, we'll be in a much better spot. But at the moment, we don't have life gain. Alright. That's a decent one. This actually puts us in a pretty strong spot. Because now we can have like 2 guys. Just grow our scout, so we're attacking for as much as possible. Start attacking in. At least we've got a blocker for this guy. Oh goodness, are we just dead on next upkeep then? Alright, I think we're just screwed. Sucks that our it was double brushland and not a temple garden. We took a lot of damage off these guys. Alright, so trigger, opponent gains some life after taking the full swing of damage. Oh, this guy gets haste, so okay. 3, 6, 7, 8. That's enough to kill us. We have the block here, but yeah, it's just a little bit too much damage, and the active on the land as well. I have a feeling like we could have sequenced better there and been fine, but I mean, this thing drained us for what, like 6 damage? Gained our opponent a bunch of life. Wow. Okay. So I have a feeling like Graveyard Hate's going to be pretty good here, hey? When it enters the battlefield or attacks, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. If it's a creature card exiled this way, each opponent loses a life, you gain a life. This one, whenever creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead. Fire breathing type effect. Three black creature with menace. Alright. So looking at their sideboard. They have like discard hate. They have a little bit of creature removal. After that, there's not a huge amount that we have to be concerned about. Like a bit of graveyard hate. Maybe this prototype creature. But nothing too much. I think we should be okay to sideboard into this. Alright, well these are the cards I think are considerations. Rest in Peace. Rune of Sustenance for a bit of life gain. Controlling the board. I think we might want to trim on a couple of our like non-hexproof creatures just because they are a little bit fragile. Don't really think tempo's hugely important here. Minus a bit on flying. think First Strike's probably an important stat. We can probably just win without these generous visitors though. Let's go like that. It's probably going to be easier on the play rather than the draw, because on the draw there's potential for them to take our 1 mana creature. Here I think we keep what, like, Duress is non-creature, non-land, so they can't take our creature anyway. Alright. I'm thinking Thoughtseize, but it doesn't look like the deck has Thoughtseize. I'm pretty sure it's in the format. Alright, well, there's the Thoughtseize. Goodbye, Basara. Super punish for not mulling. Alright, and we draw a little bit of mana over there, and well, we draw another aura, pardon me. So we'll just run out a guy. Hope they don't have removal. Probably unlikely. Blood Crypt tapped. So Fatal Push, sure. So now we're just drawing to a creature. We break on creature. That's quite interesting, the way that Magic buffered that. I skipped my turn, but it's probably good to slow roll the land in case we get a 3-drop creature. So we can, if they tap out, we can go Aura Land. Alright, opponent gets to take away something. We've got like pretty good aura coverage in hand here, so as long as they don't pick all the Sentinel's Eyes, then they really can't go wrong. So I did actually have Leyline of Sanctity in my previous deck's sideboard. We did remove it for a lot of that portable hole sort of stuff. And I mean, Leyline looks like it would be pretty good in this matchup, not gonna lie. Okay, Bloodtooth Harvester, and I mean, if we can find creature, that would be great, but apparently not. Mono drawing lands right now. Opponent did miss a land drop. I mean, it's good they don't get the tempo, but it's bad that their hand is stacked. Opponent attacking in for 3. Probably just holding up removal, maybe not. Drawing a card. Brushland. Okay, well, I mean, yeah, cool. Deck hates us. Alright, so this one attacking on in, down to 13. Okay, we'll Mirror Breaker. Hey, look, a creature. Let's go. What am I doing here? That needs to be that one. That needs to be that one. And, I mean, hopefully no Liliana of the Veil. List we looked at online didn't have Thoughtseize. They might have Liliana. I'll just assume they don't have it and play into it, because super far behind regardless. Opponent shocking in the Blood Crypt there, and... oh, cool. Yeah, lovely. Alright, well, that's probably game, right? I mean, Floofy, maybe. Yeah, I mean, we just either needed to mulligan the hand or have Leyline in our sideboard for this matchup. It looks like in the last 14 days, it's 7% of the metagame. It's the second most popular game here, most popular deck here. But oh well, we'll lose. We'll move on to the next match and hope for a better one. Yeah, cool. So, like, just super dead. If we, like, drew that scout, like, 3 turns earlier, we would have actually have had a ball game, but we just let our opponent actually get to their mana, and then just sort of that massive sideboard hate card, 4 mana exile effect. Match number 2, we have won the die roll, and this is a no from this hand. This hand's got SRAM, like 1 creature. I'm not super happy about keeping this. I think we probably do. Put 1 card on the bottom. It's probably the expensive aura. Just gonna lead on Mana Confluence. I think it disguises our deck the best. This could be like loose keeping the hand, by the way. I think it's okay. We're not always going to have a 1 mana hexproof creature, and I think in Pioneer it's going to be unrealistic to play to that. We want to play this on the white side, so Boulder Loft. Looks like we are versing a creature deck, a control-ish deck here. Demir. Is this like Grixis mid-range? Do they run this pathway land? Doesn't look like Grixis runs this, but it could be a Demir thing. So we'll kick things off with Sentinel's Eyes trigger. Get the draw effect. Obviously, we're going to escape this later, so if they're holding up kill spell, it's the freest aura to cast. Hey look, we find a Basara. That's not too bad either. I think if they're letting that resolve, it's probably semi-likely Audacity resolves as well. I could play the Griff Spoon. I think we're pretty far away from escaping it. We have duplicate Audacities. I think this is like medium counterspell unless we pay 1. Alright, well, maybe it would have been better to Griff Spoon in that spot. Brick on land, attack for 3. I mean, at least we're drawing stuff. That's a plus. Oh, cool. So this actually doubles as a land source as well. That's pretty funky. Field of Ruin from the opponent. Alright, are they just activating field? Okay, just a Wrath effect. Destroy all creatures with mana value 2 or less. We draw green mana. Fantastic for us. Just continue to tax our own life total here. I would love to play Audacity, but we do not actually have the mana for it. So just escape the Sentinel's Eyes. Alright, so we find Floofy Paws here. Opponent, obviously, potentially holding up some counter magic. This is a sorcery, the Path effect, so I guess we just cast this Audacity, evaluate from there. We'll play around Jara Disruption, and then I guess Griff Spoon is fine, and just attack for a heap. If like this gets countered by us not paying 1, it's not the end of the world. We're 1 mana off of the activation, returning it from the grave. Otherwise, we're attacking for half our opponent's life, and seems like a good place to be into a control deck. Oh, opponent has some description of interaction. Alright, so no interaction, but they're just sculpting. Look at the top 6. You may reveal an instant or sorcery from among them, put it into your hand. Rest on the bottom in a random order. So my guess is they're looking for other Wrath type effects. And they find Behold the Multiverse. So pretty happy about that. Pretty happy about drawing the Floofy Paws as well. We're really close to just having the win. In actuality, our opponent just concedes. So here's a list called Dimir Tempo. There's also Control, Mid-Range. But yeah, you can see here it's a deck with Liliana of the Veil. It has Hero's Downfall to remove creatures. It has Path of Peril, destroy all creatures, mana value 2 or less. In general, destructive effects there. One of Blast Zone, that could be frustrating. Interaction of Duress, Counter Magic. Okie dokie. So that's the general ballpark of what we're versing. I think given it's a control deck, we're probably, for the most part, going to be fairly well placed. War of Blessing seems like something that loses a bit of value. We probably want some of these indestructible effects. Probably not too many though, like maybe 2 to 3 copies. I don't really see too many other sideboard cards we want. Yeah, well, I mean, something like this. Probably our life gain and our fighting isn't super important, and then we'll just bring in some indestructible effects. Again, life gain is probably not that important, so we'll bring in the Scry effect on the Lauren's Escape. Alright, so we see this hand, which is creature heavy or light. I think on the balance of things, it's probably worth keeping. Just given the fact that like Thoughtseize into us is really good if we don't have a creature. Just Urborg pass. Sure. We'll play the green side of this pathway land. Want to be a little bit careful and make sure we get enough white sources later on though. Alright, so Urborg Island, find Griff Spoon. Mana is kind of nice. I think we still want green here. This probably gets countered. If not, they probably untap and play Liliana. We do have more creatures. It's okay to play into this here. Counter unless we pay 2. Well, we cannot pay 2, so... Alright, so it looks like our opponent is on an Esper deck, so we didn't quite peg them properly. Elixir of Immortality. Wow, this is hardcore control if they're playing that. So we might want to set up to play 2 creatures a turn. At the moment, they're not applying too much pressure. Then we have 1 mana there. I think we want to play around like paying 2 to counter the make disappear. I think given we've got a lot of mana in hand and opponent's putting us under no pressure, we can do so fairly well. Opponent's found the Watery Grave though, so to make things troubling. 8 in their hand. So we'll lead on Brushland. I think Saram's probably the weaker effect here, so we'll Saram first. I've tapped my mana wrong. I should be tapping Pathway there. Apologies. Doesn't like it might convey our hand a little bit, but it doesn't really hurt too much. Wait a minute, I did not tap my mana wrong. I saved a point of life. Like, if we want to Brushland Pain of damage, which is probably fine in the matchup, then maybe you could say I tapped it wrong. But alright, let's see what they do here. Hardcore counter effect. Counter target spell unless its controller pays twice X. Alright, so we're not going to pay 4. We did get to keep the more resilient creature. Our opponent can still wrath the board. And it looks like they're willing to pass to us here. We find more mana. Alright. Deck, if you could stop, that would be lovely. Guess we'll go ahead and lead on Audacity, because why not? If that's going to resolve, yeah, sure. I'm down to Ethereal Armor, playing around counterspells as best as possible, and... Alright, so we took an extra point of damage there than what we needed to, but I guess this is fine. Attack in. Alright, and opponent's at 10. I was going to say, this seems like it's possibly a worse match when... Sphinx's Revelation, sure. It seems like a worse match when we're on the draw rather than when we're on the play, because they can interact with us more and disrupt our tempo more when we are on the draw. Alright, so this is probably Wrath the board. Yeah, sure. Draw a card. Hopefully we'll find a creature. You get Griff Spoon back. Basara, perfect. Alright, well, we continue to find these land sources here, which are not the best, but whatever, I guess. Tap this one for black, and yeah, cool. So actually, I could have saved life if I played the Mana Confluence there. I remember the Urborg later on, my mistake. Again, I don't think our opponent's killing us on damage most games. Alright, opponent cycles Censor, looking for some description of answer. And passes to us, and looks like we're flooding out again. It's good that we've had a lot of creatures here, but it'd be nice if some auras joined the party. Alright, so land pass, and our opponent's close to dead. Alright, so now they'll Elixir of Immortality, and get everything back, gain some life. All of that good stuff. And looks like they're passing back to us. They've played Field of Ruin. We're not super concerned about Field of Ruin, really. Let's go ahead and attack for 3. Pass the turn. We'll hold Scout in hand in case they ever blow up the board. We can reset. Alright, so end of turn. Like, if opponent wants to thin our deck, I'm completely fine with this. It's fine by me. Alright, opponent plays Fabled Passage, and looks like they're passing back to us. I mean, sure. Let's try and close out the game, if we can. If it gets countered, then whatever, but if not, we've reduced it to a 2-turn clock. Seems like a reasonable place to be. Opponent takes the damage, going to end step. Cracks Fabled Passage. And I mean, they can Sphinx's Rev, gain a bunch of life, but we'll just pretend they don't have that for the time being. Turn 10. Hey look, opponent concedes. I feel like we got fairly lucky to win that one, but we'll take it. Just for sake of being transparent. So I did look up an Esper control list quickly once I saw that white mana. Cards to be concerned about, like Dovin's Veto. They've got Absorb, they've got Void Rend, so a bunch of counter magic, some card draw type stuff, some interaction. Vanishing Verse is cool. I love this card actually. This is a really sweet card. Potential Shark Typhoon would have been annoying. There wasn't a point in the game where we could have played around that though, so we just pretend it doesn't exist, right? Looks like this lists no Liliana, so that's kind of nice. Shadow's Verdict with the Exile effect would be annoying. Alright, welcome back for the third match here. Versing Joke Lamb. We lost the die roll. Opponent on the play. Our hand is like semi-reasonable. I do not like the look of what they're about at the moment, because I don't think we're going to be quick enough to kill whatever this Green Ramp deck is going to be doing. Especially not when we're flooding so hard. Alright, opponent 3 mana, Kiora. So that's like that annoying Tron deck, right? Green Ramp Tron thing runs, it's not quite Tron, but we versed this last time. Khan the Great Creator, and it can like lock out life gain and damage. Yeah. Gotcha. Well, I'd like a little bit more help than this deck. This is a little bit poop what you're serving up at the moment. This would have been like much better on the play than on the draw, but here we are. Alright, Wolf Riven Haven, tap tap tap. Old Growth Troll, trigger. 3 cards in hand. I mean, if this is all they've got, we might be okay. Oath, sure. Finds Llanowar Elves, so another creature to the board. So this is called Mono Green Devotion, or I think I had a different name of Nykthos Ramp. Are you fucking kidding me, deck? Could you just like stop just for a minute? Jesus, dude. Three draws, all mana sources. Super frustrating. Why do I have to click the mana symbol, man? Well, I can put this thing to... Oh, we can kill this thing. Even better. Let's take that off the table. Alright, so opponent's got some more action to come. It's a lot of mana. Yep. Alright, so looks like they find Kiora and Nykthos. So, all that hard work undone, Basara. Sorry, man. Khan the Great Creator. Alright, now we're in trouble. They can infinitely lock some shenanigans here between Kiora untapping mana, Khan searching stuff, and then just exiling their own creatures and returning them. Alright, so we can see Pestilent Cauldron here. Also Restorative Birth, so they can gain life. Oh wait, they don't have the artifact. They need an artifact to properly lock us, right? So they get it with Khan. Are you fucking kidding me, deck? What is this BS, man? I think we take Khan off the table. Yeah, I see no reason to be scared of Pestilence Cauldron there. And we should be able to play out this one okay. If we play a green mana source, we can actually blow up Nykthos, which could be okay. Yeah. Not like a huge fan of taking the damage here, but let's just take that Nykthos off the table. I guess technically I should be doing this draw step, so maybe I'm being a bit loose there, but opponent down to one card in hand, which is the Pestilence Cauldron. Getting pretty close to stabilizing here, just need like a good maybe 2 mana aura, and then we can start doing what we need to. Oh, opponent just has like another Nykthos, that's unfortunate. Alright, so here it is, Restorative Birth, getting back there at Planeswalkers. Is that just a lock now? Kiora untaps Nykthos. Nykthos for 1,000,000 mana. Alright, I think that's a lock. So basically what they do is they just continue to cycle these effects. It's possible I need to see one more Khan the Great Creator or a negative on the Khan getting a card called the Chain Veil. So they need a second Khan or to search up Chain Veil here, and we're locked and we can just concede. The combo is they just keep playing these Planeswalker spells. Yeah, there's Chain Veil. And then eventually they'll gain a bunch of life there, and then they'll deal damage to us equal to the life they've gained this turn. So even though they've gained life, like we've both gained life, they'll deal like twice the damage or something like that, or they can play the damage card twice. So I'm just going to concede here for time. Alright, well, we can see here, I mean, it is a Khan the Great Creator deck. It looks like some of them are running Bolas, which is absolutely revolting. Definitely don't want to see that. But, like, all of their sideboard cards are just wishboard cards for Khan the Great Creator. Hopefully, like, realistically, we just want to be fast here and not interact with our opponent. I think we can interact a little bit. Like, probably Portable Hull is fine to remove their mana dorks to slow them down. Not sure how much we care about gaining life or fighting creatures. Maybe we care about fighting creatures slightly more, but this could be a consideration for a cut. Could blow up their enchantments that they put on their land. It seems kind of medium. It's about equal to killing the mana dork, right? Maybe like 2 more effects. Oh, actually, we should definitely bring in Rest in Peace here, because then they can't graveyard lock us. Okay, so that's kind of good. We have more game than what I thought. I think this is what we want to board out. 2 Griffspoon, 2 Cartouche, Glare, Ghost Form, Warbriar. We should also remove... Or is that not main deck? Oh, I've already removed Rune of Sustenance, so we can remove 1 less card. Probably Cartouche stays. We'll submit that. Alright, so we see this 1 mana hand which operates entirely at 2 mana. I love the cards in it. I just think we have to mulligan, regrettably. This looks a little bit better. Let's keep. I think we can ditch 1 mana source here. And then we'll just maximize on card draw and creature damage. And we should hopefully be able to raise here. If we draw a 1 mana source, I think we turn to Floofy Paws if we draw the mana source. If not, we SRAM. Maybe it doesn't make a difference. Maybe it's just Floofy either way. Opponent with Llanowar Elves. Passing to us. Cool, we find the mana source. I think I'm fine suiciding this into the Elves. I don't think that's something our opponent wants to interact with. I think Elves is more valuable than removing this creature. So, yeah, looks like that works. Let's Floofy now. And pass the turn. And then next turn we have SRAM plus Audacity. Trigger and trigger and trigger. Alright, opponent plays Chunky Troll. This should be okay. Alright, cool. We actually find mana source that doesn't deal us damage. So I'm on board with that. And we'll go ahead and Audacity here, searching up Ethereal Armor. Find another Audacity. Alright, well that's kind of nice. And we will Ethereal Armor, and we'll attack for 7. Not too bad. Probably where we want to be. Hopefully our opponent's deck doesn't go off on turn 3. I think it's more of a turn 4. We have first strike here, so that's interesting. I didn't think the flip side of this was that impressive. So sacrifice this land, create a tap token. It does give them extra green mana. So maybe boarding out all the copies of Griffspoon was incorrect. Maybe we should have left 1 copy in. Give the flying so that we couldn't give them this. Alright, that's pretty strong. Alright, opponent finds Teferi. Does this have a bouncer cap? Choose up to 1 target artifact, up to 1 target creature, up to 1 target land. Untap chosen permanents. Okay, so they can untap their own mana. And they're definitely not done. Wow, this is foul, man. This is turn 3. Alright, so we now see Haven and we see Khan. I think they still get an untap on Teferi, maybe. Unsure. I haven't fully tracked it properly. Alright, so opponent gets Transmogrifying Wand. Enters the battlefield with 3 charge counters. Remove a charge counter, destroy target creature. Its controller creates a 2/2 White Ox creature token. That's kind of annoying. Alright, so we'll just lead off on probably trying to combo kill our opponent this turn, right? Hell yeah, another Audacity. Let's go SRAM for the win. It's huge, man. Alright. So we're like a single aura off of having enough damage, I think. Damn, so we draw a natural state there. Oh, actually, no, we just have enough damage. Floofy Paws is literally that good. Alright, so attack in the air at their face. Oh, this thing has reach. Wait, we don't attack in the air. This is so frustrating. This seems frustrating. You may exile it. If you do, put another target card from your graveyard on top of your library. So, this is kind of gross. Do we just ignore their combo? Probably not. I think they're more likely to have multiple copies of Khan than they are to have multiple copies of Teferi. So we'll just try and screw them in this fashion. We should note that our creature most likely dies here. Opponent just letting that damage go through. Okay. Interesting. Mana Confluence, and we're going to look to destroy this one. Our Floofy Paws is going to die to their wands, unfortunately. Hopefully us just interacting with their mana there is enough to slow them down so much that they can't win this turn, though. Alright, opponent plays wand. I guess they can activate at instant speed. It looks like they're activating it now, which seems questionable to me. Triple Audacity trigger. Oh my god, do we break on every draw there? That's disgusting, man. Cavalier, okie dokie. Khan, active. Double Cavalier. It's going to make it pretty hard to attack right now. Are you fucking kidding me, deck? If this isn't a middle finger, I don't know what is. Play this on white side. Question is, where do we go in here? It probably just has to be on Floofy. Even though we don't really get much from that this turn. Hopefully we draw some more auras and can start chaining some stuff here. Perfect. We find all that glitters. Love to see that. Trigger. Sure, we'll get another Audacity. Now we can... Oh, we've already played our land. Alright, so now we can do this one. Grow our guy. We can get hexproof this time, which is really strong. For authority. Alright, and I think I've misplayed this because instead of getting Audacity, I should have got Ethereal Armor. So another misplay, but oh well. We're in a scary spot versus our opponent anyway. Line of our elves, sure. Opponent on the Khan active now. After floating 9 mana. Finds Cityscape Leveler, trample whenever you cast this spell. And whenever it attacks, destroy up to one target non-land permanent. Its controller creates a tapped Power Stone token. That's disgusting, man. That is really disgusting. What's wait, where's my tapped Power Stone token? What's this thing do? Oh, wow. Mana. Yeah, let's go. That's what we want, right? Luckily, we have another Floofy in hand. This is almost out of counters. Man, I really wish I had flying in the deck. That Griffspin would be really strong here. Sure, we'll go ahead and block. Seems fine. Maybe it should be with the Warrior token instead. Oh, what a joke, man. Alright, play White Pathway, play Floofy. We have many Sentinel's Eyes right now. Sentinel's Eyes from hand. Start growing this Ox, because Floofy's going to get removed. Alright, so we get Ethereal Armor. Unfortunately, we're out of non-Ethereal Armor auras. Yeah, so that's a bit scary. Or at least at 1 mana. Let's grow the Ox again. 6 toughness is a good place to have it. We found Portable Hole plus Basara. Okay, failed find. Portable Hole will draw us a card here. And we can deny this Transmogrift Wand. Oh, that's 3 mana? Lame. Alright, let's deny some mana then. Man, Portable Hole sucks. Why is everyone playing this card? Alrighty. So it's not an equipment aura, so we don't get the card draw. That's a bit annoying. Alright, so I guess we just pass the turn. Hope to hit more mana. Okay. Opponent wasting no time. Rakdos active here. Khan negative. Getting the Cauldron. Alright, so casting the Restorative Birth side of the Cauldron. Returning Kiora and Khan the Great Creator. So we're just going to yield here, see if they get the lock. I think they do. Untap on Rakdos. Tappy to Tappy. Khan. Khan negative. Finding. Okay, Sovereign Skyship. That's not completely terrifying. Do they remove SRAM with that? I would imagine. Yeah, goodbye SRAM. Thank you for your service, my friend. Terrifying Wand on the Floofy Paws. Chunky attacks from our opponent now. Yikes. A lot of damage. Oh, wow. And they get to... Alright, that's just game. We'll concede. Alright, welcome back for match number 4. We lost the die roll again. Opponent keeping 7. I think this is a keep, but a little bit aura light for my liking. Depending on how interactive our opponent's deck is, that might be a good thing. And Witch's Oven. Alright. Well, I'm glad we got the Hexproof guys here. Because maybe we should play Brushland. After drawing Ethereal Armor, we've got like one too many white cards in hand, I think, to be playing just green mana when we have the opportunity not to. Alright, so this guy... I'd actually like to see mana here. Okay, so that's not too bad. I think they call this Jund Sacrifice when they run around with the Witch's Oven, right? Attacking him for 3, no blocks. Fine by me. 3 in our opponent's hand. We get to untap and double aura here. I think we want to start gaining a bit of life too, so load up on the Rune of Sustenance. ETB, draw a card. Audacity, perfect. Alright, so our creature's starting to look really strong now. So opponent down to 14, we're back up to 18. Saga trigger. Alright, we see Overgrown Tomb, Blood Crypt, discarded. Gilded Goose, yep. Plays Pathway Land. Plays Cauldron Familiar. Yeah, this is fine. Alright, there's nothing here I'm scared about currently. Trigger, sure. No blocks. Oh wow, that's kind of nice. I think we play this one. Let me reread the wording on this. So tap Sacrifice. They currently can't copy it. Alright, so we should be able to SRAM here. Oh wait, I took 1 point of damage there I didn't need to take, sorry. This mana is getting me a little bit. So now we play this one. Draw a card. We get to... Yeah, draw a card on ETB. And then we get to fight. Attack. Gain life. Alright, so SRAM ability goes through. Temple Garden to hand. Trigger. Fight this one. We should gain life off this as well as our attack. Alright, looks like there's a very slow respawn on the Fatal Push. Yep, so this one goes off. We gain 5 life. That's nice. We'll attack. We're back up to 20 here. Alright. Witch's Oven, sacking it. Sure. So they fog the damage. We don't actually gain any life in that spot. Sure. Alright, so maybe the attack was a little more loose. We have Trample plus all that glitters next turn, so we'll be in a better spot then. Alright, so flipped into Reflection of Kiki. Opponent drawing a card with Blood Token. 1 card in hand now. Attacking, getting some treasure. Sure. Alright, I think we get there this game. Find another Audacity. Sure. Seems really, really good. Right, that one resolves. This one should also resolve. And opponent concedes. Let's go. Alright, so here we can see Age Sacrifice deck. I think a few of our opponent's cards were differing a little bit there. We can see like a creature suite here. This guy being the big heavy hitter. We can see a little bit of interaction with removal. We can see a little bit of card draw. Diabolic Intent to tutor. Reserve, which is often Fabled Mirror Breaker. So basically, like, it's discard and targeted creature removal. Oh wow, they're literally packing back to nature, so that could be a frustrating one. I'd probably be bringing in Leyline of Sanctity if I had it, but I mean, we are here not having it. Portable Hole, it's probably not worthwhile. I think we probably want Sustenance and Blessing in. We maybe want like a couple of Tamiyo Safekeeping, but even that might just be overboarding. Really unsure on like trims. Maybe like this, and this. I didn't see any sacrifice effects. This should hopefully work. Hey, we have a pretty solid looking starting hand here. Hexproof creature, Floofy Paw backup, a couple of auras, protective effect. So one Thoughtseize. I'm like really regretting not having Leyline of Sanctity in the sideboard here. Credits to Michael for getting that far without it, but I think it looks a little bit necessary to me. Alright, we'll lead off on Brushland, pass. Alright, Proving Ground in tapped, and we find Basara. I mean, yeah, that seems pretty good, right? So hand's a little bit awkward here because we don't have access to double white currently. Maybe I should have just played the Beside You and then played this on white side. So I think I misplayed my mana a little bit there. It just means that we can't Floofy plus Ethereal search up like Sentinel's Eyes. Whenever a player sacrifices a permanent, deals 1 damage to any target. So do I just ignore Floofy for now? That seems annoying. I guess we Floofy pass and just don't attack. Hold up Tamiyo Safekeeping. Alright, opponent spends a turn playing a tapped land and getting Fabled Mirror Breaker. I love this. We're in a much better spot now. So play this on white side. Play this. I think we probably want to lean towards Basara a little bit here. Sentinel's Eyes on Floofy. Warbarter here. Oh, opponent concedes. Alright, so we're going to get the Hexproof effect as Alpha Authority onto Floofy. We're going to fight. I don't think we care about the Devil. I think we remove the token which generates treasure, start attacking, and then we're just in a really good spot. Alright, match number 5, and we won the die roll, which is a pretty good feeling. Hand is reasonable. We'll go ahead and keep. We have castable creatures. We have castable auras. Seems pretty good. Only downside is we only have 1 white mana source and all our auras in hand are white. Alright, so our opponent's mulliganed all the way down to 3 cards. That's a bad feeling. We'll land and pass. They don't do any sort of strategic concession here. Looks like they're going to try and play it out. Enters the battlefield, scry 1. Alright, we're still in our opponent's turn by the looks of it. Alright, so we find Theoralama. Why not? It's going to be a pretty quick kill either way, so let's play safer and go in on Basara as opposed to Floofy. Alright, another one of these void lands getting described. The first scry was bottom, the second scry also bottom. And alright. So it looks like we're just going to get to start casting some auras here. I've got on card 2 to play around like an Edict effect here. It's 1 point less damage this turn. We do get it back next turn on the warrior token. If we play out like another 2 ethereal armors, we're like in a really strong spot anyway, right? Den of the Bugbear. Alright, so it looks like maybe a red deck. All the glitters. Sure. Think it's semi-fine to throw down on Floofy here. Could get it out of bolt range. I guess there's just really no point though. I don't think we had the kill this turn regardless, so I'm just going for like a 2-turn kill. And we could have got Kaya's Ghost Form on Floofy there. I think it's about even. Like, we're literally attacking for 12 damage here. Our opponent's at 3 life. They have to deal with a lot to get back into the game and produce a blocker. Alright, opponent plays Stone Coil Serpent on 0. And they concede the match. So I'm going to assume our opponent's on like a mono red aggro deck. Few creatures, few spells. Just playing that land because why not? So really, the main interaction is ramping Ferocidon and potentially a Chain Whirler. I think I'll bring in just my Rune of Sustenance and Blessing here. Just we haven't seen enough about our opponent's deck to make an accurate assessment, really. Minus on maybe like Flying, First Strike, Submit. If we see our opponents like way more on the lower end, we can look at bringing in our Portable Holes, but we haven't seen anything yet, right? Basara, Audacity, this seems pretty medium. Opponent mulls to 6. We're on the draw. Just think we can do better than that hand. Alright, well this looks better. It's a shame Floofy's kind of a vulnerable creature, but we'll keep. Throw back Audacity. So we can get a free aura that we can escape later, plus we can get an aura that gives our creature hexproof. Opponent mulls to 4, so either they're playing some janky ass deck or they're very, very unfortunately unlucky. Okay. If a spell or ability an opponent cause would cause you to discard a card, you may reveal that card, put it on top of your library instead of putting it anywhere else. Okay, that can't be constructed playable. Our opponent has to be on a brew here. Like if this card put it to hand, it would be okay, but top of your library is just doesn't do anything. Play Stone Coil Serpent for 0. Alright, what's the gimmick, opponent? Alright, so that turned out to be a bit of an unfortunate one. Our opponent was having some trouble with holding priority. And as a result, you know, just didn't get to cast an Undying effect or whatever it was that was going to be cast on Stone Coil Serpent. So we end up with the 3-2, and it feels like sort of an average result to me. So I don't super feel like we earned the result there. I think like the deck performed like relatively well. Maybe we misplayed a little bit. Maybe we can construct it a little bit differently. Green Ramp seems like a pretty horrible matchup regardless. I'm not sure how we win that. So as far as inclusions on this list are concerned, I do quite like Warbriar Blessing. I think the fight effect is reasonable. The toughness could also be reasonable in a spot. It sort of replaces itself. Sometimes it does more than replace itself. If you have SRAM or Floofy Paws on the board, obviously you net like an extra couple of auras out of it, plus the card draw. So it's pretty reasonable. So General Visitor was kind of a surprising one to me, because this is not an effect that a Bogle deck would normally play, in my opinion. It does give you a creature to play turn 1 rather than, you know, mulling to your 4 copies of Scout or waiting until turn 2 for Basara. It seems to be a creature that opponents don't want to remove as well. I do like the effect of giving 1/1 counters on creatures. I think that's reasonable. I think it's worth more testing. Honestly, it's better than what I was expecting it to be. I was expecting to just ditch this and get commune, and then the commune can help get us to our land and things like that. I would say that I'm a little bit concerned with the number of mana in the mana base. The list that finished in the top 4 at that major event was only running 19 lands, and I don't get how you can run 19 lands on a hexproof deck when the majority of your creatures are all at 2 mana. Like, seems a little bit wacky to me. Still, they did very good. Again, they didn't have Leyline of Sanctity in the sideboard, which is something I would probably do, but play did very, very good, and all credit to them, and not to take away from them, but that's probably not how I look to play the deck in the future. Glaring Aegis seems maybe like the most pointless aura in the deck. I think I'd see a case for the haste aura before it. Kaya's ghost form seemed okay, although I didn't really lean on it too much. Again, I actually like SRAM more than what I thought I would. Teaming it up with like floofy boars in the grindy games is incredible. You've got like Batman and Robin here. Floofy automatically gets an aura. This guy draws stuff off the top. If you hit extra auras, like, you basically got a core Spirit Dancer and like another core Spirit Dancer, but with a different and possibly better effect, depending on if you're trying to kill your opponent fast. So we did minus the Aegis there. I think after that, it's possible to give the haste aura another shot. So we'll bring in a hammer hand for next time. I would say I like the inclusion of many copies of Basara in the main, beside you in the main deck, freeing up sideboard slots. Maybe we didn't utilize those slots super well. So, as stated before, I think Leyline of Sanctity should probably be included here. I wasn't like huge on Natural State. I didn't really find many times where I was wanting to bring it in. You can see more of an argument for Portable Hull, probably, if you're versing a lot of aggro decks. I think we're probably slightly too heavy on the indestructible effects. 4 is probably enough. Graveyard Hate actually seemed reasonable. Yeah, I'd probably run like sideboard beside you as like a third copy there. It's difficult to get to that with my current like rental subscription, which is like really, really low tier mana trader subscription for like 135 tickets. So I built like pretty much most of the modern deck, so I can be a bit greedier in modern, but here in Pioneer it's a little bit harder. So yeah, probably for the meantime it's just like ditch Natural State. It sort of overlaps a little bit with Portable Hull. Both of them don't really do the job I want them to do very well. And I'm unsure what's better between Lauren's Escape and Tamiyo's Safekeeping. The Scry could be good in some cases. The Life Gain could be good in others. In the case of this league, neither of them really played a huge impact. I think we brought them in against control, didn't see them, and won anyway. But yeah, like the deck does seem a little bit more playable than what I originally thought. It's possible we want to be at like 21 or 22 land, just so we have that guaranteed 2 land drops for turn 2 for when we go in on Basara hands. The deck feels a lot better when you're on the play as well, rather than being on the draw. Again, I don't think we can do anything about that other than like rigging die rolls, which isn't a thing. But yeah, I definitely do like the idea of Leyline being included in the sideboard, just so we have protection into those discard matchups. Hope you all enjoyed watching the league here. A little bit more successful than the last one. I don't really feel like I deserved it though. But hey, we'll take the success in quotation marks where we can get it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think of the changes to the deck, and yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you next week for some more action. Have a great day. I'll see you then.